waiting. Will you join me?
Hello, welcome back to Star Wars. My name is Phill, of course. I'm joined, as usual, by Matt and Robin for what is a rather impromptu video on their side. But hello, good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, cool cats and kittens. Happy New Year.
Yeah, indeed, Happy New Year to the pair of you.
2020 is over.
Yeah,
2021 is just the beginning.
Yeah, 2020 round 2 is what it is. But yes, hope everyone's had a pleasant and happy Christmas and New Year / holidays.
As
much as possible as can be.
Yes.
Any New Year that sees Poe and Din Djarin slamming beers, I'm down with.
Well, you never know. I mean, it could happen. It could happen. Yes. So this video is rather impromptu up on for the other two because yesterday we had the High Republic publishing panel. Was planning going live yesterday. I was thinking migraine, decided to save them. But yes, these two have not seen the video, so I'm going to take them through at the same time.
Kind of skip through the video, but I won't really pay attention.
I've not seen a thing, Phil. Take me through Virgin Eyes.
Yeah,
I saw basically front covers of things, but like the front covers of the books and
Let's
stuff.
do this. They've taken one Jedi away from us with Grogu. I imagine the High Republic's just going to replace him with more.
He's not a Jedi yet.
It's more of a Jedi than I am.
Well, yes.
Yeah, because you don't have the Force.
Exactly.
I mean, he's got more force in his little finger than you do your entire 6'6" frame.
Exactly. So he's more of a Jedi than I am.
Which one of his fingers is his little finger, though? Because I mean, technically, they're all little fingers.
They are adorable little fingers, and I'd love to watch him pick up some Battenberg cake.
Well, we have
What's going with blue macaroons?
Oh, what a lovely macaroon.
Oh, we're not getting. We've done that. Go down Larkin Street.
I just wonder if Grogu will end up getting a lightsaber and how tiny the lightsaber would be.
It was the same as Yoda. Same size as Yoda's.
Oh no, because Grogu's smaller than Yoda at the moment.
I mean,
so Grogu's lightsaber would be tiny.
Speaking of the devil.
That's not Grogu, Phil.
It's not Yoda. It's Yoda.
No, this is Grogu. It's just way in the future.
So, right, come on. Let's show us this panel because I have not seen a thing. And is this only publishing? So is this only about the books?
Only publishing. Yes.
Oh, all right. I see that.
So this is this is across actually even more than I thought it was going to be because this goes from Star Wars Insider all the way through to a manga that I didn't even know those two were going to exist in this particular format. So it'd be pretty good, pretty interesting to see. So yeah, the panel yesterday was looking at all the new releases that are due out today and going forward. Everything that we know so far included basically all the authors have been working up behind the scenes. So Claudia Gray, Justina Ireland, Daniel Jose Older, Kevin Scott, and Charles Soule. And this kind of laid out not only the timeline for the High Republic, but also where the books are set, where everything is going, and kind of the reading order as well. The important thing to state from the off is that you don't have to start from the very beginning. You can pick up any of these books and you can be immersed in the story because all the books and all the comics, everything else that's in phase 1 starts at what is called the Great Disaster. We'll get into some more of that later on, but you can pick up any of the books and be immediately in the story.
They happen simultaneously or they're not linked together?
They're all linked together. They do happen kind of simultaneously. Where they start and where they end, and each story is different, but the actual event called the Great Disaster happens simultaneously across all of them. So you have a jump.
So it's kind of like Time Lord Victorious in that you can read each one individually, but the more you read, the more of the whole picture you'll get.
Correct.
Is this Star Wars taking a key from the Horus Heresy?
It kind of is a little bit. I mean, to be fair, the Horus Heresy on that particular point is one of the most well thought out and planned series I think I've ever read. That they've put a lot of time, a lot of energy into that series. Been going 15 years now, Matt?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, very well. When I first read Horus Rising, it was on the 5th anniversary of that book. That was 2000. Yeah, it must be like 15 years now.
Yeah.
which is crazy. But multiple New York Times bestsellers, so it'll be interesting if it's going to be like the Heresy, but for Star Wars. Actually, what an interesting one.
It's going to be a really, really cool thing for us to look at in terms of how it. So, as I said, the Great Disaster is this thing. We don't know what it is yet. They don't want to spoil it, obviously, before the new books are out. Now, the actual release date of the books is today, yesterday and today, so January 5th, January 6th is when you have, so when you have Light of the Jedi and A Test of Courage are due out. Now, in the UK, I'm not sure exactly when they're going to be available because of shipping at the moment is a problem due to something coming at the end of this week. However, so international release date is here. Now, the books themselves, I'm going to take you through each one in a little bit, but the actual timeline I'm going to kind of bring up on the screen now. So this is the official Star Wars timeline as we know it, with all these new books in place. So you have the period we're going to talk about now called the High Republic. You then have the Fall of the Jedi, which is, of course, your prequel area, Reign of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, Age of the New Republic, Rise of the First Order, which is, of course, your original trilogy through to sequel era. So we're not focusing on those. What we're focusing on is the High Republic. And the High Republic is set centuries before the events of Episode 1. Now, when they originally announced it, it was announced as 200 years before, but there are some that are set even longer before that. I'm not sure when the Great Disaster is set as of yet, but this is set a good 200 years before Episode 1 at the earliest point. So we are talking, as I said, this is Yoda but he was much younger. He's only, 700?
About 600. 600-ish. Well, he was 900 when he died, so yeah, about 600.
Yeah. So it's Yoda in his prime.
Practically middle-aged.
Just over middle-aged at this point. Yoda has a crew at this point. It's great. I'll get onto that later on.
He has a crew like the Backstreet Boys.
He has a crew
they call the Yod Squad.
They should be. No, there's a crew of Padawans that are basically taking a gap year, and they go on a whole bunch. It's Yoda on a gap year.
I'm on my gap year.
Yeah, exactly. He's taking them on a bunch of
Spring break.
Yes, and he's essentially taken them on a whole series of adventures. So
this Yoda, I'm in.
Yeah, so this whole thing kicked off yesterday. It's all the authors that have been planning this behind the scenes for a little while. This was announced at Celebration Chicago's in 2019. So it's been a little while coming from the public. Yeah, from the public eye, it's been at least a year and a bit in advance. It was supposed to come out last September. That was the original release date. Now, of course, with the whole COVID crisis,
things got in the way.
Yeah, with getting books printed and getting the actual medium out, it's been a bit of a problem. So they pushed it back to January, which I was happy with. But they've been playing it for a little while before that. It means they put a bit more effort into what's coming forward, including the announcements we didn't know were coming, like the manga, which I'll get onto later. So the whole thing is centered around Chancellor Sol. Now, Chancellor Sol, her whole mantra is "We are all the Republic." Kind of like Luke Skywalker, we're all the Jedi, we're all the Sith. We are all the Republic the Republic is expanding. This is the public. Again, think of it in terms of heresy. If you're a fan of the Great Crusade, it's that kind of expanding into the galaxy, bringing planets into the fold.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Or the Empire.
True, but this is the friendly, let's bring you in EU style rather than the German boot of we are just going to take control of you.
Yeah, it's still like the Empire going around getting all of these things to be one.
Yes,
they don't love to read
and also
about the
technically, the Republic is the Empire anyway, just at a different point in time. So
yeah, this is hundreds of years before that. That's not the point. There's no Palpatine at this point. There's no Sheev.
You don't know that. You don't know how old they've made him now.
Yeah, immortal.
Well,
no. Yeah, he tried to be, failed, luckily. But that's
actually, I wonder who would.
We don't need that. Darth Plagueis.
No. I'm just trying to think of like how far down.
Oh yeah. So have they? Is this pre-Plagueis the Wise or post?
Yes.
No.
Oh no, it'd be post Plagueis. Well, this is literally just going on the sadly now non-canon Plagueis book.
Yeah.
Which I think it was basically like 60-ish years BBY. I think is when he met Palpatine. So this is going off very bad memory. So yeah, this will be definitely like pre-Plagueis. Plagueis probably wasn't born yet.
No, we'll find out that as we go along because I think
Plagueis was about 70s when he died.
Yeah.
I think.
So the main villain for the High Republic at the moment is something called the Nile. The Nile are a bunch of space Viking, space pirates that
what?
The way they are
cool.
The way the Nihil
Hold on,
described,
that one on the right looks a bit like one of the early concept arts for Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. Just
that
without the
reminds
mohawk.
me of Kronos and God of War.
Actually, a little bit. Yeah.
So we're looking at like
Hey,
barbarian Mad Max style.
Yeah. Now the way they've described it is, of course, is the kind of space Vikings / space pirates. However, these are not your Pirates of the Caribbean pirates. They don't just rape, pillage, and plunder. They are darker than that. They apparently are pretty nasty pieces of work.
Do they eat people?
No, but
my eyebrows cannot go any higher. My interest is piqued.
No, but
because I was thinking they're a little bit reavery from Firefly.
No, but
they don't eat people, not pirates.
Yeah, I think it's the Draghi. They will eat people, but I haven't put any of them in the. Oh, I have. Yeah.
What's that?
This is the I think it's the Draghi, if I remember correctly. I was split about getting everything sorted, but they are
that
sentient.
Looks a bit like a mix between a Krynoid and Audrey 2.
A little bit. No, these are sentient plants that connect to the dark side of the Force, but also Hydra in nature by the fact if you kill one, two more will take its place.
Hydra.
What?
Yeah.
They're not led by someone with a red skull, are they?
No. The great thing is though, the way they described it, what they got as a massive laughter when they did it, and I loved it as well, was the way Justina Island basically described it was one seed is all you need. Because if one single seed gets on a planet, gone. That planet is just dead.
I'm already enjoying the bad guys more than the good guys for the High Republic. They seem
that's because you don't like Jedi anyway.
The bad guys will definitely interest you more, Matt, on this particular front, but I'm very interested to see where they go and how they go, because
the Space Vikings, just give it to me. I'll get into my vein.
These are proper Space Vikings, which I said the design of them is just so cool.
That's very cool.
So the first few books we've got coming out is, if I bring up the picture again, so you have the Light of the Jedi, which is Charles Soule's novel. Then you have Justina Island's Test of Courage, which is a young adult novel. You have the Marvel and IDW series, and then you have Into the Dark, which is Cavan Scott's novel.
Who's doing the Marvel series?
Do you know? I think it's Cavan. Yeah, Cavan Scott's doing the Marvel series, and you got Daniel Jose Older doing the IDW series.
Do we know who's
drawing
sense,
they do
the Marvel series?
We do, but I didn't note it down because I was too busy doing the rest of it. I can't remember.
What was the writer's name again? Sorry,
Cavan Scott.
Cavan Scott. Let me just have a look at something. What's he done?
Oh no, wait, he wrote books, didn't he? He's definitely wrote Star Wars books before.
He has. All of these are authors that have been working on.
Because Charles Soule has done a lot of the Vader comics.
Yeah, Claudia Gray. I cannot wait. So Cavan Scott's done a lot of the Vader stuff. So is Charles Soule though.
Oh yeah, that's it. Scott did the Vader stuff as well, didn't he?
Yeah, Calvin Scott's not on Marvel Unlimited under creators, which is interesting.
No,
probably because all the stuff he's doing isn't going to be on there.
Correct. So
I didn't know if he was in-house anyway. Marvel. Just what I was checking.
I only know from Star Wars stuff, so I wouldn't know.
Fair enough. So, looking at the two comic runs, they are interconnected in one area. So, the first book to come out, Charles Soule's is the yes, the Light of the Jedi introduces you to Avan Chris, who is a Jedi who is sent out to Starlight Beacon, which is both a Jedi temple and also a hyperspace beacon. So this is how the hyperspace lanes are being set up. The whole point actually with the Jedi in this is the Jedi have temples on pretty much every major star system. There is not like they're all huddled up in Coruscant. They have temples across the galaxy.
We know that because there's one on Lothal.
Yes, but this is more introducing as to how and why they're set up on these planets, not just randomly dotted around for plot's sake. This is where and how they're expanding, usually on these events. So with Starlight Beacon,
do you like the design of that space station?
Oh yeah, it's really cool.
They've basically just taken the Jedi Temple on Coruscant and stuck a space station underneath it.
Yeah, so Ivankras's story in Light of the Jedi takes her to Starlight Beacon. The characters from there, who her Padawan and everything else, will then spear off from Light of the Jedi into the Marvel run. Whereas some of Justina Ireland's characters from A Test of Courage will go into the IDW run. So the IDW run is always set a little bit for the younger age, whereas the Marvel run set more mature audience, I'm going to say, but you know what I mean by that. It's definitely an older audience. So the characters themselves will splinter off from these books. This is how it's setting up. However, you don't need to have read the books to understand where they're going in the comics, because actually they're now doing in Star Wars Insider a little monthly.
Got to add to the Marvel one. I've just had a look. It's being drawn by Ario Anindito, who's worked on House of M, Venom, and Wolverines, and is currently doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for Marvel Comics as well.
Is it? Yeah, this is some of the artwork for that.
He's great. I've read the Secret Wars House of M stuff.
Yeah. No, this one I brought up. We'll get to in a second, because this is from the IDW run, and that character there, he is called Buckets of Blood. I kid you not, he's called Buckets of Blood. He's a Jedi.
I'm guessing he's what?
He is a Jedi.
I'm guessing he's one of the bad guys.
So he's a Jedi
called Buckets of Blood. What
the
bleep?
So, the cool backstory of this is what's his name again? So it's Daniel Jose Older. In his previous previous job was worked for the American health service, whatever we call it, in terms of he was an EMT, I think. But basically, one of the people on the radio called himself and referred to himself as Buckets of Blood. This guy who is a healer. The whole point is he puts the buckets of blood back into people. He helps heal them. So this whole character thing is, I heal everybody. I put the buckets of blood back into them. So it's literally a Jedi called Buckets of Blood, which is, if it's the most metal thing I've ever heard, I don't know.
So hold on. There's a Jedi called Buckets of Blood that sounds like it's the name of someone you'd go up against when fighting like some sort of Thunderdome arena.
Yes.
But two, there's a Star Wars character that is a Jedi called Buckets of Blood that is named after an EMT.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
Buckets of Blood.
I am totally on board for Buckets of Blood.
Phill, you should bring back your other channel and rename it.
The bucket also should come back as a Bucket of Blood. Yes,
the Buckets of Blood. Yeah,
Buckets of Blood.
There's a Jedi called Bucket of Blood.
Yeah, that's one. This one ain't my TikTok page.
Oh, I can't believe there's a Jedi called Bucket of Blood.
Yeah, there is indeed.
Has it got like an odd spelling on it, or is it just Buckets of Blood?
We don't know. Not seen it recently yet.
Okay.
No, not seen it
yet. And hold on, is that his, for lack of a better term, Christian name, or is that his nickname?
I have no idea.
Because if his parents gave him the name Buckets of Blood,
I think this is going to be a nickname. From what we can tell, I don't think it's literally going to be a Jedi called Buckets of Blood. Master of Blood. I mean, you know what I mean?
No, it's Master Blood, please.
Yeah.
And you're wondering why the Sith happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got names
if he doesn't turn to the dark side, I'd be kind of like, Darth he wouldn't need a Darth name. He wouldn't even need it. He could just still be called Buckets of Blood.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, so the whole point with the Jedi of the High Republic is they have a little bit more freedom. They are a little bit more liberal in terms of how and why and where they go and what they do. They're not just centered around the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, and they're not as strict with the rules as they are when we first see them in Episode 1. So I think this is going to kind of tell us the whole point of the prequel is the Fall of the Jedi. I think we're going to see why and how they become so rigid, because you also have a Jedi in this, again, name's just off the top of my head, but she is a monster hunter. Her whole point is she's a Jedi which will literally go around, and this is a graphic novel, but again, written by Kevin Scott. This is the artwork by Rachel Stott on this particular one. Her whole thing is go around, like, essentially getting bounties for taking out monsters. Literally entire thing.
Jedi bounty hunter? What the hell is going on?
Jedi monster hunter. This thing, again, to Jedi being a little bit more free and liberal. I mean,
I'm guessing the great disaster that happens is what causes them to be the monks that we know them as.
We will find out. We will find out. So you have, again, this is from the Marvel on Master Skier and his apprentice. I mean, the whole point they're opening up is she ends up being knighted in the first issue. She also ends up cutting her master's arm off, from what we can see. It's a very...
To be fair, I have actually already made him in Lego.
But it is a Trandoshan Jedi. And
But
also,
now that I know,
said,
I'm gonna have to modify it now if I know he loses his arm.
So we're gonna see more kind of races as Jedi, I'd imagine. Then
a lot more races and a lot more freedom in that area. Like, for example, having the purple lightsaber now no longer limited to just Samuel L. Jackson. You have characters who have purple lightsabers. You have.
I mean, to be fair, it's already. There's already been another purple lightsaber in canon.
But, yeah.
Had.
But yeah, because Luke wields blue, yellow, purple, and green. Sorry, his.
Luke wields the rainbow. He's a gay.
Red and blue, purple rain.
Rain. I love the fact he gets.
I understand that reference now.
Yeah. No, he gets a reference. But yes, across the map there you have not only there's the good guys, there's the bad guys. You have people in the middle. You have, as I said, 1919 to Matthew McConaughey getting his own ship, which is a character
all right.
Claudia Gray's upcoming novel. Claudia Gray, if any of you haven't read any of her Star Wars books, those are the ones I highly recommend first.
Which ones did she do?
She did Phasma, didn't she? No.
No.
What was that? Daily Derbyshire.
Daily Derbyshire? Where the hell that come from?
Delia S. Dawson. Delia Derbyshire. Yeah. Delia Derbyshire did the theme. Did the Doctor Who theme.
Yes, exactly. I was like, where the hell that come from? Claudia Gray did
Talented lady.
Claudia Gray did Bloodline. Which
yes, of course.
Right. Okay.
Didn't she also do Leia, Princess of Alderaan?
She did Leia, Princess of Alderaan. I think she also did. She not do Queen's Peril and Queen's Shadow?
No, I think that was Dawson.
Was that maybe Christy Gold, I can't remember. Either way, Bloodline is the one of the Star Wars books I will recommend to anyone to go and pick up. It's one of my first books to go. If you want to read new Star Wars material, read this because it is fantastic. It's one of the although yes, I love Star Wars and I'll read the books anyway, it's the one of the few that I've picked up and couldn't put it down in terms of I had to finish it as quickly as I could. I was listening to the audios, I can't stop this. I just have to get through this. Thrawn has hooked me in that way, but life got in the way. I need to finish reading. Well, actually, continue reading Thrawn. But no, Bloodline is one of those books I will recommend. Hand on heart, one of the best I've read. Compared to something like Lord of the Sith, which I absolutely adore for a different reason. Lord of the Sith is Vader and Palp being just sadistic, and I love it.
With the glaring continuity error that really bugged me. But...
Yeah, continuity error. Whereas Bloodline is a political thriller that is so well written. It gives you the rise of the First Order, the origin of the First Order, the origin of the Resistance, as well as the inklings of how the Republic starts to fall apart already. Plus Han, plus Ben, it gives you so much. But anyway, that's a different point. So Claudia Gray is one of the ones I'm definitely looking forward to her book. Which is, if I remember correctly, is Into the Dark. I think it's Into the Dark. But anyway, so this is the books we know about in Phase 1. Now, I haven't actually got a picture of Phase 1 up, so I'm going to quickly go and get that because they've announced three phases.
Pick up Iron Man.
I can't. It's in the other room.
Damn. I do have it as hand sent it across.
No.
So if you give me just a second, I'm going to bring it up because it's very interesting that they have done it this way. Now,
you've got anything from Phase 1?
I've
set Matt looking now.
That's Lando Calrissian. I can't reach it, but there's lots right here.
So Phase 1 goes from 2021 to 2022, but they haven't said how far into 2022 it's going to go. I think at this point it's going to go quite deep into 22. I think you'll see Phase 2 introduced its Celebration Anaheim in 2022. I think that's most likely when they're going to do it.
When we're allowed to be at large indoor events.
Yeah. But yes, so the first phase is called Light of the Jedi. Phase 2 is Quest of the Jedi, and Phase 3 is Trials of the Jedi. So this is all things leading up to the Fall of the Jedi, which is what we then have known as the Skywalker Saga and their thereafter. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing more from this. So the first two books are out, as I said already. So they started releasing. The first Marvel and IDW are out. The first story in the Star Wars Insider magazine is out as well, of course. So that's issue number 1 in terms of the. I think they're going to do a collective book at the end of it. I'm going to probably get them as they go. But first lot of release. Now, I've also announced the second wave of books. So you have. Race for Crash Point Tower. This is a young adult novel, like a mid tier one.
It looks pretty kiddie.
Yeah, it looks a bit like the Chewy ones in the Forest of Fear.
By Daniel Jose Older, again picking up one of the characters we meet earlier on from the IDW series. So again, linking it all up. You then have The Rising Storm. Again, this one's written by Kevin Scott. This picks up after Light of the Jedi, without Avar Chris, because she's now off doing her own thing in the Marvel comics, so you won't see her again in that particular run, but you'll see the other characters introduced.
Right.
And this is more the darkest where the Darker Tale begins, meeting, of course, with the Nile and everything going forward from there on. You also have, where is it? So Out of the Shadows, again, this picks up after Into the Dark. So where you have the two books branching off from that very first beginning of Into the Light, so Light of the Jedi, then you have Into the Dark, you then have Light of the Jedi and A Test of Courage. Test of Courage will go into into the Race to Crash Point Tower. Into the Dark will then peel off into Out of the Shadows and Into the Rising Storm. So again, all interconnected, all characters you will then grow alongside. And then the very first, now we've had manga adaptations for Star Wars Rebels and for the original trilogy. Now there is a book,
and some of the novels as well.
Indeed. Now there is Lost Stars has been done. Now
and Leia and Luke.
There is a Chinese book that has been done that I haven't got a picture for, that again wasn't announced at this panel, so I'm trying to find out where it is and what it is exactly before I talk too much about it. However, we do actually have The Edge of Balance, which is the very first full in-house. They've gone to a manga studio to get this done. It's done by the story is done by Justina Island, but it's the very first proper Star Wars manga. So
has she got lightsaber katanas?
Yes, she does.
I'm in.
Why is it being? It looks like it's read left to right as opposed to right to left.
I mean, if it's a manga, it probably is.
No, it'll be read properly. You'll open it from the other end.
It'll be properly, yeah.
It's done properly. It's done by a manga studio. I don't know which one because they didn't say, and I haven't had a chance to look into it myself. But it is done as an official.
Oh, there is. They are. Oh, if it's who I think it is, they're a bunch of like street artists that got picked up by Disney and Star Wars. And because there's this whole thing of they're suddenly getting catapulted into the big leagues. I can't remember their name. I think it's the Something Collective. But yeah, they were like a small. I remember reading about this. They're like a small independent studio, and they were picked up by Star Wars. And the whole thing is, you've been doing this small stuff. Now we've got this new gig for you. You're doing Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it's like this massive leap in what they're doing. But they're actually quite famous as well. Yeah.
It's also tied nicely to Star Wars Visions, which we know is coming, which is the anime side of things. So it's Star Wars branching out into different types of media, but still telling the story of Star Wars, which I'm really looking forward to. Now, when we talked about the movie and TV slate the other week, we all had differing opinions on some things. We all had joint opinions on others. Droid's Tale, for example, we all collectively just went, no, we don't need this. Whereas, of course, things like The Acolyte, I just was completely championing because I'm looking forward to it because it's a new story set in the Star Wars universe that I don't know yet. I don't know any of the characters. And
because that's the High Republic one, isn't it?
I'm about to say, that's the end of the High Republic stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is what I'm so excited for all these High Republic books, novels, graphic novels, and everything else, because it's new Star Wars stories, but with characters I don't know. This is a very fresh look at Star Wars, which I think it needs. I love Star Wars to death. That's why I've been doing this on the 17th of January. I would have been streaming for 4 years, and I completely love it. But I need something new. I need a little fresh. I need something that's going to give me a fresh wave of of love for Star Wars. I think this could do it. It's stories that I don't know.
I think it's going to be a very different Star Wars from what we know.
Absolutely.
I think it'll be something that makes the Phantom Menace look lived in and that era.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because there's going to be all new characters except one.
There's
only one character in this whole thing who we know.
Going to be something just. It's going to be Star Wars, Jim, but not as we know it.
Yeah, and I'll let it not. But I'm very much looking forward to it. Along with the Star Wars, This Week in Star Wars, the Star Wars show and the book club, they're now bringing the High Republic show into it. So the High Republic show will be weekly, and it will be a way for you to kind of keep up with all new releases. They basically plan on doing something new every month, which is going to be, it's big. It's big, but
that's output, man. That's big.
Down to it, that's, for example, that's 12 books, or a few books, a few comics, a few graphic novels. It's going to be split apart into little chunks, but
big.
Yeah, it is big. This is Star Wars pushing the envelope in terms of storytelling that we've not seen before. Multimedia, across books, comics, and it will be audios as well. It's got manga. It's got everything you could want.
It has at least one film,
but also, well, one TV show.
Haven't they said there's going to be a film as well, though?
They have, but they haven't said.
Well, I was talking about Acolyte. So it's like High Republic-ish.
Yeah, but it's a TV show, not a film.
Oh, is it a TV show?
Yeah.
I thought it was a film. How did I miss it as a TV show? I thought it was a film. Oh, cool.
I don't know why you thought it was a film. It was on the TV show slate.
Maybe about so hard.
I just got confused. I thought it was a film.
No, it's a TV show.
It's there with the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't
so,
really know.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to what they do with the Acolyte, as I said, but this is them pushing the new story, but in a safe way. They're not just going, here's a film, here's your massive jumping in point, and then branching off. They've gone, okay, when the film series or TV series, however they could progress after the Acolyte comes out, it's a case of not only do you know these characters, you've been built up with them for a little while. For those who watch the film, we go, okay, new styles, let's see what it's about. For those who like the books, the comics, the expanded universe, this will be characters you're introduced to and grow up with. There's a way of getting away from the whole this is Star Wars but not as you know it, and the fans just completely riling. Now, don't get me wrong, the Republic has a trap and has a problem, which is called Revan. And I'm not looking forward to all the fans, toxic fans, who are just going to go, but where is Darth Revan? We want Revan. Because when I was watching the panel,
they're already doing it.
Yeah, the panel was, all the comments were just, where is Revan? And I have seen people online who go, if you don't know who Revan is, you're not a true Star Wars fan. All the gatekeepers, all the toxic fans. And it gets really annoying.
All that I can't actually use the right words on this stream.
Yes.
People.
Yeah.
How much of a timeline is this spanning? Do we know? So, like, I'm starting to think, could we, towards the end of it, see, like, a young Qui-Gon Jinn? If it's going to fall that close to Phantom Menace?
We could potentially, but I don't think it's going to fall that far. Because
I would like that, though.
They're keeping the end of it, I think, at least 150 years prior.
So, a young Qui-Gon, then.
I would have liked a young Qui-Gon, because...
I mean, that would have been cool.
There's some big depths to that character, man. Like,
well,
all the stuff of was he a Sith Lord and all that kind of thing.
By Paul, read Master and Apprentice. You'll find out more about Qui-Gon.
That is a good book.
I like Qui-Gon.
Again,
yeah, if you want to see like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, like in kind of their formative years as Master and Apprentice, read Master and Apprentice.
Also, Dooku Jedi Lost has a bit of Qui-Gon in it as well.
Yes.
Love a bit of Qui-Gon. No,
I mean, if you want to find out more about Dooku, listen to that. Yeah, it's got a bit of Qui-Gon in it.
Yes.
Because it depends how close it falls, the end of it, to Phantom Menace, really. Because even if it's 50 years before, you can still be young Qui-Gon.
It all depends where the Trials of the Jedi is set.
Yeah.
At the moment is Light of the Jedi. This is phase 1. This is what we're in now. This is the only bit we know anything about. And this is all the books and comics we've had so far. And I've been skimming through it because I've been trying to ingest all of it and kind of put it in my memory too, to then put it out here. I do recommend the pair of you go back and watch the panel. It's a very good panel. It's quite fun, and you'll learn a bit more of the characters than I've put here. But I'm very much looking forward to finding more about Chancellor. So, buckets of blood. We got buckets of blood. It's going to be amazing. If our Chris or more her, the Dreadnought, or however I can't remember they pronounce it again, these sentient dark side plants that eat people. It's just going to be brilliant.
And
also known as Crinoidry too.
If I remember you saying correctly, Phil, there's going to be basically a release a month for the next 2 years for this.
Pretty much, yeah.
Could be setting up some like retroactively thinking it's going to change what we know of the history of Star Wars.
Right.
So it could set up some interesting things for Mandalorian season 3.
Yes, it will. It will set
If
up
I that's 2 years away, are we setting up something for Grogu?
I wouldn't put it past them.
That's assuming Grogu comes back in season 3.
Oh, Grogu will come back in season 3.
Yeah,
I reckon season 4. I reckon they'll actually have like a season without it.
Season out. But if this is changing what we know of the history of the franchise or the canonical history as such, then knowing what Mandalorian has been like, the deep dives,
yeah,
I'm thinking this could feed through. So while they're filming and doing all the stuff for Mando season 3, some elements of this, because I mean, I'm spitballing here. Mandalore is a pretty ancient civilization as well. So could we see Mandalore the Great in the High Republic?
not Mandalore.
I think it might have been before.
He was 1,000 years before
Yeah.
the events. However, just because you won't see Mandalore the Great doesn't mean you won't see Mandalore. And you won't see the Mandalorians.
This is what I mean. So we obviously, with everything you've got going on with Bo-Katan and the Darksaber, if we see could really set up what the future of what we know about Mandalore, which is kind of exciting.
We might even see the Darksaber if we see
now
if we see the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, because I'm fairly sure that's where they kept the Darksaber, if I remember rightly. So we could see it in the background.
What I personally see happening is them introducing it in one book and then splitting off into its own series. Away from the High Republic, you'll have Mandalore. You just have Mandalore.
So Mandalore the Great was after the High Republic or before?
Before.
Well,
I think.
Before the peak, but during the era of the Old Republic, if that makes sense. But it was before this point in time.
So he was before the High Republic. Yeah. So we could very well actually see Mandalore the Great in the earlier stuff, or he could be mentioned.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting now.
I think we'll have those. As I said, I think we'll get Mandalore mentioned in one book, one comic, one graphic novel, like a little kind of one series, one little bit, and then they'll split it off into Mandalore because they will want to do Mandalore justice. You can't. This High Republic centered around Jedi mainly. That's kind of the whole point. Doesn't mean they're not going to look at Mandalore, but you don't want to look at Mandalore in a Jedi-centric story. You want to look at Mandalore in a Mandalore-centric story. You want to look at...
if they were enemies, it makes sense to have Mandalore in a Jedi-centric story.
It does, but what it would be is a crossover in terms of here's your Jedi-Mandalorian wars, then you have the Jedi side, then you have the Mandalore side, here's the Mandalore.
Well, I think the war took place before the majority of this is set, wasn't it?
Yes, that doesn't mean you don't have the history of it. Doesn't mean you.
No, I'm not saying this. See, I generally think, like in one of the graphic novels, like it would be like Odin's Vault in the first Thor film that you just walk past, like in the background. You just you get the Infinity Gauntlet. You get the Eye of Agamotto. You just see the Darksaber. Like as a couple of characters walking past, there's the panel. You just see the Darksaber in the background.
Yeah.
Now, or like a mural depicting the Mandalore Jedi War.
I'd be very interested if they do manage to I'm obviously retrospectively thinking, but if they manage to link Mandalorian season 3 into the High Republic, wouldn't surprise me.
There's probably going to be references at least.
Yeah, it would not surprise me.
Filoni's all about that.
Well, I mean, the High Republic is such a big project. Like they're really pushing the boat out on it. It wouldn't shock me if they link it in at all.
I reckon Filoni was like, can we use some of this stuff in Mandalore season 3, just like in the background? Cheers, thanks.
Yeah. But here's the cool part though. The High Republic has just been launched, and it gives us so much scope we haven't had in years for Star Wars. Because don't get me wrong, love the original trilogy, love the Skywalker saga, love everything we have so far. There's only a finite amount of stories to tell in that age, and they're getting pretty full up pretty quick.
Yeah,
this gives us Star Wars, but as you said, not as we know it. This gives us fresh stories, fresh characters, fresh introspection. This gives us a whole new layer of Star Wars to look at, whilst leaving the Skywalker saga in complete respect. He's like, we don't need to touch this anymore. That story is set. Here is our new story. Here's our new way of thinking.
My hope is this makes the galaxy big again. Because that was my criticism about Mandalorian, was it started out really well and then closed. It became quite claustrophobic towards the end. Yeah. So if this is just going to span out what we know of the Star Wars galaxy as well, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Completely agreed. And this is only going off from one panel, and already my brain is just completely teeming of what we can have, what we have going.
Let's face it, Phill, your brain is just full of buckets of blood.
Yes, it is.
I'm just thinking about how they could link it into other Star Wars properties. So could we get like the Night Sisters? Is it the Night Sisters?
Yeah.
I mean,
it is the Night Sisters.
Yep.
But this is what I mean. Could we see them at an earlier point? Maybe Darth Maul's lot an earlier point as well.
Yeah, you could easily see the Night Sisters and Night Brothers because of dark magic, because of the Force, because it's the way it works. You'll see that more because of the way they're now looking at the Force, not just as just the Jedi and just the Sith. Magic is still the Force, it's just what they call it. You're looking at it from so many different perspectives. I think you'll see the Guardian of the Whills. I think you'll see a lot more than just this.
Oh, of course, the Guardian of the Whills.
I so hope we do, especially after reading their bit in the first, from a certain point of view.
That would be wicked. That would be cool.
Although I don't think so. Although actually no, because the Guardians of the Whills are canonical, because that's what Baze and Chirrut are part of.
Exactly. Yes, it is, yeah.
I just remembered that. Yeah, so yeah, we could.
Exactly.
So we could maybe see Jeddah at strength as well.
You could see Jeddah. You could also
actually, yeah, because if there's you said about there being a lot of Jedi temples everywhere. There was one on Jeddah.
Yes, this is
we could see a fully functional Jedi temple on Jeddah.
Again, will then link up all the way to the original trilogy of where they get all the kyber crystals from to get to build Death Star.
That's kind of. I'm not because it's what feels old in the Star Wars universe of the Jedi Order, the Night Sisters, Mandalorians, these old ways. This is a really good chance to tell the stories of them at their prime.
So the way they've described it for the Jedi is they've looked at it from the Arthurian point of view and more from Camelot, both points of Camelot, which is the old Arthurian legends, and then the 1960s American Camelot, which is the Kennedys and the White House, space exploration, the technology race, and everything else. They looked at it as a point of view of this is the Jedi at their expansion, but they're walking around more freely. They're walking around more in reverie. People are used to seeing them. This is going back to the complaints, and I agree with you with the Mandalorian of how is he not heard of the Jedi, to this is the Jedi are very much common knowledge, commonplace. This is, again, linking back up to the heresy, it's of the Empire, of the Imperial Palace, of the Emperor, of the Space Marines, of
this is going to be Star Wars Caliban, isn't it?
Yes, and I'm totally fine with that. I mean, one of the cool parts is the alternate cover for Light of the Jedi is literally Jedi on horseback. I'm like, yes, I'm totally down with
We've
this.
seen that with Vader on horseback with a shield.
Yeah, but that's Vader being Vader. This is now that's just cool. This is now
also, to be fair, don't one of the Jedi have the cross hilt lightsaber?
Yes, they do. They have cross guards. They have
because I know one of them is being added into squadrons as a cosmetic thing you can have.
Yes,
and it's a cross guarded one. Although that one looks interesting because it looks like it's got kyber crystals in the cross guard on the outside.
I wonder if they might, in light of this, in a couple of years' time, republish the Jedi Path book.
Yes, they probably will.
Probably will. I'm lucky I have it. But...
I might.
Book of the Sith. Between us, we have the different collection. It's not all in one place.
I mean, I've got most of them as the normal ones, but the Path of the Jedi one, I have the one with the thing that opens.
It would be interesting to look through all the scrolled crib notes in the Jedi Path to see if any of the people that are written in it are in High Republic.
Probably will be. Oh no, maybe not.
Oh, Yoda.
Because I don't think they go back far enough. I mean, Yoda, yeah, but that doesn't kind of count. But I don't think they go back far enough. From what I remember reading Jedi Path, I don't think...
Because it's that kind of thing that in a couple of years' time, if you read that book, would you be like, oh, it's that person?
Probably not.
No, because like I said, I think it's only like... because I think the first one, latest one, depending on your point of time, is I think it's Yoda's master. I think. Oh, maybe
they could bring him in, depending on him or her.
I was about to say, like, I'll just it'd be interesting. Like, would they, like they've done with the GW Infantryman's Handbook, how they did the Damocles Golf campaign and they added all the extra bits to it from that campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the stuff in that book is now made canon, because they've been doing that since Disney took over. Like, right, we're starting anew, but we're taking some of these bits, some of these bits, and slightly changing them, but making them canon again. So there probably will be some things in that book.
Which is why I'm with people talk about Revan and stuff. I'm like, just you wait. They'll bring him back. They'll bring him back in a way that makes sense.
I mean, I think Revan's canon anyway, because he's one of the name is because I think he's one of the platoons of Sith troopers in Rise of Skywalker was named after Revan.
Name is, but the character that is currently out there is not.
Although I think you do actually see his face in, like, on the temple walls.
No, that is part of the concept art. His face itself is not on there.
That's a C-3PO Easter egg.
There's also
yes.
You're supposed to see Darth Nihilus and Darth.
I get that reference.
Which, again, you don't.
Yes. So this is the other day, but it might have been the artwork.
No, they changed it to Space Acolyte, I think, at the end of it, or just old Sith Lords, but not actual Revan, Scion, and Nihilus. And you got things like Traya as well. Again, characters that will eventually probably crop up in a way that makes sense for the timeline.
I mean, let's face it, they can have him be an earlier point anyway.
Revan's going to be your next Boba Fett. It's going to be that person that all the fans want, who's not in canon, and suddenly it's going to be like, boom, there you go.
Actually, no. He in that regard, he'd be more like Thrawn.
Yes.
Well, yeah, or Thrawn.
A massive fan favorite that people want to be canonical will then eventually be made canonical.
They got a habit of doing it. Like, it's so much fan service that we'll see Revan.
Yeah,
we'll see Revan 100%.
I bet they're all just sitting there at Project Lumious or whatever they called it, just sitting there going, "We know you want Revan, but we can't tell you we're putting him in yet till Phase 3."
Project Luminous, because the whole point that he's starting to light the Jedi.
Yeah, luminous beings are we?
Yeah.
I knew it was something like
that. I might read it. It sounds interesting.
But you have to read it for Buckets of Blood alone, surely.
Yeah. It actually sounds way more interesting than I was prepared for it to be.
Well,
to be honest.
Well, you just heard Jedi and switched off.
Yeah, I did. If it was going to be a series of books about a bunch of wandering monks, I'd just be like, meh. But if it's almost like D&D classes in a way, you're a Jedi Paladin, you're a Jedi Rogue, and all this kind of thing, I would be way more interested.
I have made a Jedi in D&D by using the monk class. So.
But I'd be more interested to read it if it's like, this Jedi likes ketchup on his sausage sandwich, but this one likes chili oil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If there's a difference between...
Don't you mean on his Ronto burger?
Oh, whatever, man. But if there's like a difference between their personalities, and...
Like, this one likes calf, this one likes whatever the tea equivalent is. Oh, no, wait, it's just tea.
There you go. Do you know what I mean? If they're different enough as characters...
But, I mean, we already have a Jedi bounty hunter, so...
Oh, exactly. Which I'm already down for.
And one called Buckets... I can't get over the fact there's a Jedi called Buckets of Blood that's named after an EMT, a real-life EMT.
Yeah, go back and watch the panel. They'll give you a much better explanation. But so my question to you, actually, you've already kind of pre-answered that, was going to be, so you guys came into this not knowing a huge amount. You know, I've been pumped for it, and you've left me to my own devices on that. Now having basically properly jumped in and heard my little explanation of what's going on, how do you now feel about this going forward?
Well, I was going to read it anyway, but now I'm looking forward to it a bit more.
I might actually read it.
and that's basically the biggest recommendation we can do is Matt's going to read it.
Yeah,
I might actually read it.
Yeah,
is the big one.
I mean, if you got Yoda on a road trip with a bunch of gap year kids, a Jedi that I'm just going to keep going over it because I can't. It's just awesome. A Jedi called Buckets of Blood, and a Jedi bounty hunter.
Yeah.
I want to see how it ties into what we already know as well, because there's going to have to be threads.
There will be, but
I reckon a lot of that will be with
Star Wars. Yeah, of course.
That's probably why they put Yoda in it, so they can have that link.
They'll leave it for quite a while though, which I think is what's needed. Now, I have to admit, going into this, so when this was first announced at Celebration in 2019, the whole hype at that point, of course, was for the Rise of Skywalker. I was very much in that frame of mind of this is going to be cool. I love it. I stayed up and did a live review straight after the initial panel. I was properly pumped for it. My brain was very much in the Rise of Skywalker mood. Now that I've shifted off the Skywalker saga, I'm looking to the future of Star Wars. This is
technically the past.
Yeah, well, yeah. My imagination has been captured in a way I wasn't quite ready for, in terms of I knew about the Nile because that's what had been teased before. I didn't know about the Drangea, these dark side plants, which
Chronometry 2.
I mean, I'm trying to. Oh, come on, there's a card I've got in Magic, which again is similar artwork to this.
I mean, to be fair, it does look like something like D&D.
It's a very D&D Magic slash
Chronoid / Audrey 2.
And a lot of the point this was based in, they went back and looked at epics for fantasy, not science fiction, but your classic fantasy. I think it's what the Jedi need. As someone who's a Tolkien fan, I think that's why maybe you're going to get drawn into this more than I thought you might at first.
There's other things that I'm intrigued by, like what did droids look like during the High Republic? Were droids widely in service during that era? What do their ships look like? What
the aesthetic
did the galaxy look like? And I think the aesthetics of it, I'm really interested.
Yep, Robin?
HK-47.
I mean, if we get assassin droids, I'm so...
We've had HKs 87s in Mandalorian. You were saying earlier about linking it in, Matt. Maybe we could see, maybe not the HK-47, but some form of HK.
But I'd also kind of like to see the Star Wars galaxy not being so droid dependent. What was it? The Great Calamity? No, that's Zelda. But what is it?
Calamity Ganon's going to come in and destroy the
Calamity
Jedi.
Ganon. What was it?
I still have to play that game.
The Great Disaster.
The what?
The Great Disaster.
Okay, so the Great Disaster. If that's got something to do with the dependence on droids that we know about, that would be very cool.
It will, and I can tell you for why. Again, think of the heresy. You know when the light of the beacon went out and the hyperspace then the warp lanes got shut down? Yeah. That is basically what's happening in this, in terms of the hyperspace routes are being shut down by something going wrong. Because I
want
this hyperspace beacon, but also a Jedi temple.
I would like to see a Star Wars galaxy with less droids in, and as it goes across, they start introducing more droids. Because if they want it to feel like the past, but still be set in the future, like still be sci-fi, but past historical sci-fi, then
they'll still have lots of droids. They'll just be steampunk droids.
But I mean, if they're riding horses on one of the covers, then they're not droids. They're horses.
Yeah.
So they're not like
horses in Rise of Skywalker.
Yes,
but you know what I mean. They're not like robot horses.
Yeah. Yes, I know exactly what you mean, and that's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to it. But on your point though, of making the galaxy bigger, their whole representation for the whole first part is these beacons. They are expanding the galaxy, so you're going to get this feeling of vastness because they are expanding it. That's their whole point. It's making it feel because they are.
There's a lot of story to be told here. I feel like
the unknown regions are cool. The unknown regions. Maybe we know why they stopped. Why they?
Well, I mean, this is it. This is. I think whatever this great disaster is could be what makes Star Wars as we know it now.
Yeah.
Which I think could be very, very. I think it could be really interesting. I'd like to see. It's like you don't see King Arthur and the Knights of the Round drive around in cars.
No.
They're on horses, but we know what cars are.
Well, it depends if you watch Monty Python or not.
Yeah, okay, true. Do you know what I mean? So my interest is peaked. Whether I can find the effort to consume a bunch of books is a different thing altogether. What I tend to find,
if it's like one new thing a month, that's going to be a lot for me.
Games Workshop did something called The Beast Arises, which is a 12-book series where they released a novel every month. And I think I got 2 or 3 into it, and it just took one to be poorly written to just not make me continue with the series. So if it is like the heresy approach, where there's lots of different authors contributing to a story, I know what I'm like. I can keep up reading, but the moment I find Star Wars is James Swallow, Phil, the moment I find him, that's when I'll stop reading, because I would not. Remember, it took me 3 years to read Flight of the Eisenstein.
That was it. I was trying. What was the first book that? Yeah, because
Flight of the Eisenstein, and I struggled with it. To me, I kept picking it up, getting a page in, and be like, nah. So if there's one, and I don't think a lot of the Star Wars books, novels are particularly well written. If I'm honest, I've always kind of struggled to get through them and to read them, because I don't think a lot of them are particularly well written. So it needs to take, like, it's all well and good doing this big project, but if the quality isn't consistent,
well, this is the thing with the authors they've chosen. This is your core group.
These are tried, although I don't know anything about Justina Island, but the rest of them are tried and true writers of Star Wars and good Star Wars as well.
Especially Charles Soule and Claudia Gray are pillars.
Yeah,
I mean, I will read the Marvel run because it will turn up on Marvel Unlimited.
Yep.
And while it's on a subscription service I pay for, it's just like how HBO Max in the States. Everyone who had HBO Max got Wonder Woman 84. And whether it's good or not, it's free. You'll watch it. So I've got my Marvel Unlimited. So I'll read it. I will read the Marvel comic, hands down. Because it will be accessible for me.
Yeah.
I won't have to go out my way. And I read a lot every night on that anyway. So I'm intrigued. I feel like one misstep along this big chain of events could throw it into a bit of disarray. So I think it's certainly an ambitious project, isn't it? It's really ambitious.
It is, but at least they're doing it in a way that's safe in terms of, when I say safe, I mean in terms of doing it in the books and novels and graphic novels and stuff, not going, here's your TVs and films, like here's all the interconnected stuff from there. Because if they did that, that would be a bigger risk, whereas I feel this is a lesser risk because of the medium it is. Because not
to be fair, it might just make me download Audible again.
Fair, maybe I'll do.
If I could just listen to them, provided the voice work isn't awful.
Yeah. I mean, there are some pretty good ones out there. There's some pretty poor ones as well, but that's just.
I've only ever listened to one Star Wars audiobook, and that was Ahsoka, read by Ashley Eckstein.
I've listened to Bloodline, Lords of the Sith, Dooku Jedi Lost, and Dr. Aphra, which the Aphra one is.
Yeah, still need to listen to that.
I love Aphra, man.
Heck, I didn't even listen to Dooku Jedi Lost in the format it was intended. I got the book instead.
I said, Matt, have you listened to Aphra?
No, but I love Aphra as a character. She's just Indiana Jones in space. She's great.
You two need to.
I bought it like when it came out. I still haven't listened to it.
This is another way they could link it in, because she's an archaeologist, and what do archaeologists find? Relics.
That is true.
The past. Where are we going to be? The past.
That is true. Yeah, I would not be surprised if in like a few issues' time in Aphra, she digs something up that's from the Old Republic, and that's something that is in one of these books and comics.
So I think we will get Malachor.
Yeah,
I think
most likely.
I do think that by the time we get to Trials of the Jedi, that will be Malachor, and we'll find out why Malachor is. So I'm probably looking forward to all this. And this, so this was going to be a quick half-an-hour video of me kind of just breaking down what happened. I'm really glad you guys have jumped in and have this full-on discussion, because I'm really pumped for what's to come. But looking not only to the future of Star Wars, do we want to quickly talk about our own future?
Yeah, we're in lockdown.
Personally or for the channel? I was going to say, our personal futures are...
I meant for the
channel. You have to be more specific, Phil.
For the channel and some of our plans going forward. We have plans.
We have
kind of plans. We haven't finalized it all. We haven't finished kind of our discussion yet, but I do have something I can at least put on screen to show the lovely people at home.
This is true.
Our very own High Republic.
Yes.
You kept the hilt on it. Happy.
Dude, I was always going to keep the hilt on it. The hilt rocks.
I like that. That's good.
So, Matt, talk us through the new shiny crystal logo that you've very kindly done for us.
Yeah, okay. So Phil was very much wanting to do more with the channel, and the way I do. My eyes are so weird. I'm so sorry. I keep catching myself on camera, and I've got Forrest Whitaker eye here. It's really bad, and I keep catching it. I'm not wearing my glasses. Yeah, chin. Man, that logo gives me Forrest Whitaker eye. So this current Star Wars logo, as I kind of said to Phil, is it looks like something an angsty 15-year-old would draw on front of a notebook from school.
Because that's what Phill did.
Because that's what Phil did. And so the new logo is it's a lot cleaner. I think, especially with the High Republic coming as well, that brilliant white and all these kind of bits and pieces, it's quite nice. I just was messing about because I'm doing a relaunch on another podcast that is not Capers of Valtor. It's not this, it's Tales from Mid-Table. I'm currently working on a big relaunch on that. So while I was doing the bits and pieces and the marketing as such for it, I threw together the quick Star Wars one. I think it's come out really nicely, actually. It does look nice. The little lightsaber hilt's pretty cool.
So the whole point behind this, we're going back in a couple of weeks' time, I think, in terms of our first show back properly, but we are looking at launching, we're looking at doing a Patreon eventually in the future. We're going to look at what content we want to do, how we want to do it. The channel, of course, is staying. The three of us, we're all looking forward to what we're going to do, but we just haven't finalized how exactly we're going to go about doing it, but we want to give this channel a bit of a fresh injection. Yeah, we had a very
like a paint.
Had a very lovely passing of the torch from Ones to Force into Star Wars. Now we've settled into the three of us doing the show. We want to make it our own and make it something we can all be excited for going forward. So
New year, new us.
Pretty much. As I said, for me, the 17th, it'll be 4 years of me hosting, and I absolutely love it. I'm looking forward to the next 4 years.
Fine, Matt. New year, new podcast. Look.
New year, new podcast.
Don't forget though, the audios are going to be coming back as well. Matt and I are going to have a big discussion, Lex, and he knows more about how that's done than I do. But between the three of us, we will have discussions on what we want to do, how we want to do it. I might bring back the publishing news and that kind of stuff, but how one will do it, I'm not quite sure. But
I mean, to be fair, considering all this High Republic stuff, and I nearly said Galaxy of Heroes then. I was like, no, that's a game, you fool.
Yep.
You know what? I've not touched that game for 2 years. I got too into Galaxy of Heroes, and I just had to force myself out of it.
I'm still playing it a lot.
I'm not going to tell you how deep into it I am because it's
I'm about halfway to get Supreme Leader Kylo though.
Pretty sure I turned Phill on to Galaxy of Heroes. I was like, you have to play this.
And then I just kind of into it.
Yeah. And now I have like 3.8 million GP.
I've just gone over 3 million GP. And I'm almost halfway to getting Supreme Leader Kylo.
Oh, I'm nearly there now.
See, the good thing with the High Republic stuff is it's going to fill the gaps, I think, now, because obviously we're not getting the Book of Boba Fett until December.
Yeah.
December.
Oh, that's this year! Oh my god!
Yeah, we've only got about 12 months to wait.
It's gonna fly by
this year now.
I can't wait to be sat in tier 73 watching the Book of Boba Fett.
Yep.
What do you mean tier 73? It'll just be a full unlock when you can't leave your house for any reason.
Tier 5 Thunderdome.
Yep.
I think, that's this year. So, yeah, I think it'll be good. I think, I'll have to keep up with High Republic. I'll try to, at least. Interesting angle to take, I think, while we wait for... I mean, Star Wars is going to be coming pretty thick and fast now for at least 3 years. Isn't it? With a TV show slate, with the High Republic stuff.
Not to mention all the other books and comics they were already doing anyway.
Well, it's going to be a swifter release schedule than Marvel's got at the moment as well, which is very interesting to me.
You don't think you've got Mando Season 3, you've got Book of Boba Fett, then you'll have Obi-Wan Kenobi and Andor that are all shooting currently. There's
Bad
Batch as well.
Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett have now been confirmed to be a one-season deal, like one and done. And I think Ahsoka has as well. I think I was reading somewhere that Ahsoka's been confirmed to be one season.
I think these characters are just that one done. I think you can't, if you overdo it, you overdo it. You can't.
I think it's great. I think it's just give me 6 episodes of Crime Lord Boba Fett. I like it because it's not making it. WandaVision's one season. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier is as well. So I think going one season on these things makes it digestible. Future of Star Wars is bright, man.
It is. And I can't wait to sit here and talk to you guys about it. I think there's a really nice point to end tonight's show on. Is I was not expecting the guys to jump on. I'm really happy they did. I've loved this discussion.
I wasn't expecting to come on.
Yeah, I can't wait for what's to come. We will be talking behind the scenes about how and when we want to implement what we want to do. It'll be a bit of a slow rollout as we kind of figure out as we go along. But as I said, keep your eyes peeled on social media. Look out for the brand new logo. It should be going up later, probably this evening. If not tomorrow, I'll start to put that up. I have a few other things to plan for this week. But until next time, we've been Star Wars. May the Force be with you. Good night.
Come, my allies. Observe